Microsoft Dynamics CRM Level 200. I'm Chad Collette. I'm the Director of Marketing at Ledgy Partners, and I'm happy to welcome Melissa Green and Chuck Hoffman, CRM Application Consultants with Ledgy Partners, and the speakers who delivered this original presentation at our 2015 CRM conference in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at Miller Park. Melissa and Chuck, thank you for joining us today.
All right, so welcome to our presentation. I'm Melissa Green.
And I'm Chuck Hoffman.
All right, so today we're going to get into creating highly effective dashboards in Dynamics CRM. And just a few things to go over about the format of how we're going to be presenting this today. So this is a level 200 course, so it assumes that the audience has dabbled a bit in dashboards, has possibly set up some charts, and possibly set up some dashboards. So we won't have the foundational knowledge of the dashboards covered here. Two scenarios that we're going to use are based off of a fictional beverage company. We've set up two dashboards, one for a sales representative and the other for the sales manager. So what we'll do is we'll walk through each of those dashboards and all the components on those dashboards, and then we will step by step show you how to set up some of the components. Due to time, we're not going to show each and every one of those components, but a few of the more advanced ones. So the objectives really here are to spark some thought as to what you could do at your own organization to set up an effective dashboard and things that you could display on a dashboard. And then also to teach you some hands-on setup skills. All right, so to start, let's just kind of talk about what we think makes a highly effective dashboard. First of all, it should be simple to use. So the user going to the dashboard should be able to intuitively navigate around and understand what it is that they're looking at. The second point is that it should show relevant information to the person that's looking at it, whether it's business performance, success indicators, or things that are of interest to the role of the person looking at the dashboard. The third factor that would make it highly effective is that it is focused. So it's showing information that is focused and feeds off of each component on the dashboard. And then it should save time for the user. When at all possible, a dashboard should be set up to be a one-stop shop. And then last, it should give the user reasons to come back often. So on the sales representative dashboard, the first dashboard that we're going to review with you, a few things to point out. Of course, it's going to show opportunity performance. Typically, dashboards do show some metrics regarding opportunities, but it'll have a little bit of a different twist. And then another component will show the user when and where action is needed soon. And we also have, for this fictional beverage company, a brand focus for the current quarter. So the sales rep will be able to see how they're trending towards the goals for that particular brand. And then we're going to use iframes to set up a few of the components as well. All right, so here is our sales rep dashboard. As you can see, we'll start in the upper left corner and show that first component there. This is a funnel, which you're used to seeing relating to opportunities, but instead of showing the potential value of the opportunities by sales stage, this is showing the average time that an opportunity spends in any one sales stage. So for instance, on our last two stages in the funnel, negotiation and proposal, this particular user is able to see how much time each opportunity is taking in that process. All right. For this, in the background, there is a custom entity set up that tracks the elapsed time. And then when the opportunity stage changes, a basic workflow tracks the ending time of the active stage and the beginning time of the new stage. For our example, we are excluding weekends and holidays. However, you could take it a bit further to exclude those from the filter. Okay, then moving to the right, the second chart is showing the user opportunities that they have that are closing in the next 25 days. This is a basic chart that shows the opportunities, and it also shows what stage they're in. So the user can quickly look at this and see if they're in line with what their averages are from the previous chart. So there would be a red flag to them if they were to see opportunities that are before the proposal or the negotiation stage. This one is, we will show you hands-on how to set up this chart and put it on the dashboard. So more to come on that one. Then the third one is around goal tracking. So the data behind this chart uses a basic setup of the goals management area in CRM and looks at invoice information for the actuals. You could also chart this to show the actuals based on won opportunities or orders. As you can see, we'll pop this one out so we can see it a little bit closer. So as you can see on the left-hand side, those are our quarters, the 4 quarters in the year. And the blue shows the target or the goal, and the orange shows the actual. We can also toggle the view on this one to show prior years as well. All right, then the next area down is the territory management. So this is a solution that we've set up that can give the user visual indicators on a map for the items that are in the list. So this is a good way for the sales rep to manage their territory. They can visibly see certain accounts or leads that are in a particular area and kind of see them how they are located on a map. Very helpful when planning trips to a certain territory. All right. Then our next component, over to the right a bit, is opportunity products with a brand focus. So for a particular quarter, our company, our fictional beverage company, is focusing on certain brands. So the rep can see which products and which brands that are of focus for the quarter and sort of how they're tracking towards it. This particular chart is showing us the average unit price. And in this one, we can toggle not only the view to show different views of information, so basically applying different filters to what we see in the chart, and we can also toggle to a different chart altogether. So switching from product focus to brand focus. Okay, and then if we navigate down, the last area of this dashboard includes about, I think, five or six other charts. And technically what this is all a different dashboard that we've embedded into our sales rep dashboard. We've done this through the use of an iframe, and this is something that we'll show you hands-on here a little bit later in the presentation. But basically, this can come in handy when a particular dashboard needs to show more than 6 components. Out of the box, CRM has a limit of showing 6 components on any dashboard. So you could use one of those components to embed another dashboard in here. So that's what this is, and we'll show you that here in a second. All right, Chuck, I'll turn it over to you then, and we can do our hands-on.
Okay, well, thanks, Melissa. So what we're going to do is we're going to build those 2 components that Melissa talked about. One is this embedded dashboard, and the other was this basic opportunities closing in the next 25 days chart. So to get started, whenever you're creating a chart or working on dashboards, it's a good tip to identify the fields that you want to include or you think you're going to need to include in your charts and, of course, in your views ahead of time so that you can save some time in terms of going back and forth. Now, in this particular chart, as you'll notice, we're just using the pipeline phase areas for it, so that's really the only field that we're going to need for this chart. So what we're going to do is go in and create this chart quick. So I'm going to go into my settings, customizations, customize the system, Expand this out a little bit. And then as soon as this comes up, we're going to jump into opportunities and charts, because I know I need to create this chart for an opportunity. So I'll jump in here quick. All right, so we're going to create a new chart. So we're going to click on our new button. All right, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to use my open opportunities, but I want them to be closing in the next 25 days. So we've already created a view that filters out the appropriate records, and now we'll throw in a chart name. One thing that we often do is we'll put a number or something like that at the front of our chart names. It helps us sequence things a little bit, and also find things kind of quickly as we're working on them. You can obviously change those later as need be. Oops, we'll change this a little bit. Okay, whatever we need to put on there. So now we'll choose our field, and again, this is relatively straightforward. So we really just need the pipeline phase, and we actually need the pipeline phase for both of our axes. And to make it look right, we'll do our pie chart selection, and that's pretty much it. So again, this is a real basic chart. We can save and close that, and now that'll appear on our list. Okay, so next we want to create the link to embed that dashboard that Melissa showed you earlier. So in order to do that, I'm going to need both the CRM org URL, and I'm also going to need the GUID for the dashboard. And in order to do that, it's usually best to use like Notepad or a Word document or something where you can kind of copy that information into. So first of all, what we're going to do is go in and find the org URL. So we'll just go right, it's right up here, so I'm going to grab it as long as we're here. And that's this LedgeView Manufacturing CRMDynamics.com. I'm just going to make a quick copy of that. Now I'm going to jump over to Word, and over here I've already got a starting point for my template, which we could make available. What I'll do is maybe just make a quick copy, or just fill it in here. So what we want to do is put it in right where it says org URL. So I need to highlight this, and I'm going to use, whoops, I'm going to grab it with my cursor so I can grab it all, and then I'm going to paste in my org URL, take out this blank space, and I've got half of the work done. Now I need the dashboard GUID in this area, so now I've got to go back into CRM. And for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my dashboards area. So I'm going to maneuver away from the opportunity and jump into dashboards. And I want to find a leads dashboard. So as soon as my list comes up, I'm going to open that leads dashboard, and we'll be able to grab that GUID. Okay, now there's a long string up at the top, as you can see, but the key that we're looking for is going to be right after the text form ID. So we see it right here. So I'm going to expand this a little bit, and then we want to grab everything from this %7B until we get up to the next % sign. So that specific string is what I'm looking for when I'm looking for the GUID for this particular chart. So I'm going to copy that, or dashboard I should say. Copy that, go back to my Word document, and now again I can highlight this. Oops. I can paste that in there. Make sure I don't have any spaces or anything. So now I've constructed my string that I'm going to need to embed that dashboard. So what I can do at this point, if I want to, is I can copy this, and hopefully I don't have to copy anything else in the meantime. Whoops. Let me make sure I can grab that correctly here. Okay, so let's jump over to CRM. Okay, so now we're going to we're actually going to create a new dashboard in CRM. So we can jump in and we'll create a new dashboard. And again, we can choose from this list because I've got two different kind of types of data that I'm dealing with. One pertains to opportunities and one pertains to leads. What I'll maybe want to do is have the ability to create some sort of text separator for these. So if I use one of these column dashboards, I'll be able to do that. I can put a tab in each one of them. So we'll give this a name, and this is our sales rep dashboard. And then as you can see, I've got a tab here. So if I wanted to, I can go in and I can call this something like that. And then I can throw my first chart in here that we just created. So we're going to grab our opportunities again. And we'll jump to opportunities in the next 25 days. And we've got to find our chart. Oops, got to grab the my one. There we go. Okay, so we throw that on. It's pretty quick. So we've thrown our chart on there. And you could add other charts and lists and views and things in there, of course, as needed. Our second tab now, here's where it's kind of convenient to have these tabs. I can now say I want to call this my lead information. We'll change the title. And now we need to go in and we need to add the link. So we're going to go to an iframe at this point. So I'm going to go out there and I insert an iframe. And here's where I throw my URL. And the only other thing I need to do is make sure I unchecked this restrict cross-frame scripting. And this pass record type should be unchecked as well. It probably already will be. And that's all I need to do there. Now the one thing you might want to do is expand this out to increase the height. Just makes it easier for the user. You don't have to do that. They would be able to scroll up and down, but we can throw some on there and we'll get that idea. Okay, so we've got that. So let's go ahead and save that chart. That gives us the two items that we've been talking about. Close out of that. Publish. Just wait a second here, and then once this is done publishing, we'll go in and we will take a look at that dashboard real quick. So now I should find that dashboard in my view. There it is. So there's my first chart that I've done, and then here's all of the lead charts coming along with it. So you can see pretty quickly you can throw together a pretty comprehensive dashboard and give your sales rep or your sales team access to a lot of great information in a single dashboard. Okay, now we're going to switch back to Melissa.
All right, now we'll move into the Sales Manager dashboard. So the Sales Manager dashboard, as you will see here in a minute, will show us kind of the same information that was on the Sales Rep dashboard, but it will just be a roll-up of all of the information, kind of an aggregate of all of the users for the manager to see. We'll also then be able to run a key report right from the dashboard. So sales managers often have to run reports, and making it quick and easy for them to do that saves them time and gives them reason to come back to their dashboard and really makes it a one-stop shop. So we'll show you how to embed a report into the dashboard. And then also through the use of an iframe, we'll show you that we've put an external website right onto the dashboard. So a commonly viewed website typically has something to do with some industry information or an outside service or subscription that the company has that the manager needs to visit frequently. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the Sales Manager dashboard. All right, so right away this should look familiar. It's very similar to what we've seen on the Sales Rep dashboard, with the exception that it's not just showing the opportunity activity for just one rep, but all of the reps. So on this first dashboard, the active stage tracking, we're able to see the average for the entire organization in these sales stages. So typically before implementing something like this, you'll want to establish baselines for what is a reasonable threshold for average time in a stage, and you'll be able to tell if you're tracking towards that, if you're doing well or if you need to improve. Also in this view, once again, we can toggle between, in this component on the dashboard, we can toggle between the views. So we're looking at the current year. We could also just look at the last 3 months, or we can also change the chart as well. So combining multiple views and multiple charts gives the users different options to see exactly what they're trying to find. They can see that on one single dashboard. So keep that in mind when setting up dashboards. All right, moving along to the right then, open opportunities estimated to close in the next 25 days. If you recall, this chart was a pie chart on the sales representatives dashboard, and this time we put it on the on the sales manager dashboard as a stacked bar chart. So not only can the manager see opportunities, total number of opportunities by the rep, but can also be able to see what stage they're in. And then the brand focus. So kind of the same thing here. Same as what was displayed to the rep, but this is showing all of the reps for the manager to see at an aggregate level. Okay. Next we have, we're showing an embedded report. So this is an area that that a lot of people find some great use out of. Instead of having to navigate to Workplace and Reports, finding the report that you want to run, you can just run it whenever you want right from the dashboard. So in this case, we'll fill in our filter criteria and our parameters here. And then we can view our report right on the dashboard. In order to be able to set this up, there is a solution that needs to first be imported into your organization. You can contact LedgeView if you need to get that solution. But once that solution is imported, Chuck will show you how you can go ahead and embed the report. But one last component then before we move on to the live demo would be showing you that we've, through the use of an iframe, we've embedded an external website in here for the user. Anytime a user has other areas, other websites that they need to access on a daily basis to do their job, it's a good idea to embed those right into the dashboard. Makes it more of a one-stop shop and saves a bit of time. So with that, Chuck, I'll let you dive into setting up our new Sales Manager dashboard.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. So as before, we'll assume that we've spent some time setting up the views and charts for the two components we're going to put in our Sales Manager dashboard. And so what we need to do for the report side, as Melissa mentioned, you've got to import and install that solution for the report viewer, and we have it for CRM 2015 or 2015 release 1. But once we've got that done, then we need to find the link for that report. So in this case, we're going to navigate to our reports list, as long as we're right here. And then we're going to highlight the desired report. So we're going to grab this opportunity close rate report. Whoops. Yeah, let's get into the main reports area here. Whoops. And then we'll just run our report. And so what we're really looking to do is just grab this entire link at the top. That's the only reason we go to run report, is so that we can grab that link. We don't actually have to execute the report. Just going to grab everything up here. And then we can go ahead and paste that on our notepad or something like that, just so we've got that available for us here. We'll need in a few minutes. So we can get out of this. And now we're going to go in and create our second dashboard. So we got to navigate to settings, customizations again. We'll get into our dashboards area in a second. Okay, again with this one, because we've got kind of a situation where we've got some charts and then we've got a nice report at the bottom, we may want to use one of these overview dashboards again. It allows us to do a couple tab names, which can be handy for people that are looking at the information. All right, so this will be maybe our 020 sales manager, and this tab is going to be our, we'll just call it charts for now. So we want to throw our first chart in here, and that information that we used for tracking the duration on opportunities was actually set up in a custom entity that we called stage tracking, and you would be doing the same thing if you were capturing that type of information. So we'll go in and we'll find that particular entity or record type. There it is. Okay, then we'll start a starting point for our view, and let's look at the last 3 months. And then our initial chart, we'll make it by pipeline phase. So that should look familiar from what you just saw a couple minutes ago from Melissa, and we're going to throw that on here. So that gets us started, but we want to add that ability to filter between different views and different charts. So we need to go in and do just a little bit of more editing on this. So we'll open this up, and now we'll go in and we'll say that we want to show selected views, and that allows us to add additional views. So we'll maybe want to choose the current year. We've already got the last 3 months, and maybe I want the prior year. I probably don't want my active stage tracking unless the sales manager is also responsible for sales specifically. Then you could grab other ones as well. But most of the time you'll do something like that. We're only grabbing certain ones. And I have to make sure that I've got my chart selection, display chart selection checked so that I can see the different chart options that we'll have with this. So this works well when you have, especially when you have a custom entity and there's a selected number of charts that are available. Whereas if you picked just opportunities, you might have a long list of charts that the users would see. This works very well in this case. So we'll make that update, and we're ready to go with that one. So we put a very nice flexible chart on here in just a few steps once we've created the views and the initial chart. So the second thing we want to do is embed our report. So we'll go in, and again, we've got our second tab here now. So maybe this is our, we'll just call it report for expediency's sake here. So now I've got to go in and I have to insert an iframe here to put that link that we just created. So I can create an iframe, and I've got to get this link in here. So I'm going to go back to my Word document quick, grab this link, and jump back into CRM and paste that in. Again, you'll want to uncheck this restrict cross-frame scripting and make sure this is unchecked for passing record type. And we'll put that in there. And once again, you may want to look at, if you need to increase your height a little bit to hopefully display with one area the report results. But again, you would be able to scroll on this, and you can decide if you want to increase or decrease the width as you work with these as well. So I'm going to save and close that, and now we can jump back in. Okay, we're going to publish everything. This should be set in a second, then we'll go and take a look at that. Just a couple tips as we're working on this. The browser that you use can have an effect on what you using these various tools. For example, Chrome shows the report pretty well and expands it out as you would expect. IE is a little less intuitive there, so you'd want to kind of compare the two and see how it looks. Same thing with looking at secure, like HTTPS sites. Your IE browser may only allow those, so that kind of thing can be a factor if you're trying to embed a link to a site or something like that. All right, so let's see if we've got our dashboard out here now. So there's our sales manager. So here's our chart with our different that we easily and switch things around. And here to again, so just like we saw before, we can go in and we can select these, and we can, we can take a different look on the report if you want, but we'll have the data coming back again right on the dashboard. So a couple quick things to see and really expand the information that's available to your sales managers. So back to Melissa.
All right, so that concludes our two run-throughs of our two different scenarios there. And before we end, just kind of wanted to recap again what makes dashboards highly effective. A couple of things here, like we mentioned at the beginning, that they're simple to use, that they show relevant information to the viewers of the dashboard, that they're focused, that they have components on there that will save the user's time, eliminate the need for them to navigate to other areas of the system, and then make them useful, that there's reasons for the users to come back often. Another, on the right side of the slide here, we've listed off some other dashboard elements that have been frequent lately, but really the point here is that there's really no two dashboards that are the same. Each company is going to have different requirements, and each dashboard is going to be unique to the business and the way in which you're tracking the data. So hopefully we've sparked some thoughts about things that you can show on your dashboards that'll be applicable to your business. Thank you.